So the Tiferes LeMoishe says an amazing thing, that really the idea of Ahavas Yisroel is a way to check if everything else is in sync. What do we mean by that? So the first thing he brings down from the Ar Yitzchak, which is Rabbi Yitzchak Miradvil, who in Parshas Yisro explains the following. He says that every single mitzvah of the Tarag mitzvahs that exists in the Torah, at the end of the day, there is a question of whether or not they were done with pure intentions, because any mitzvah out there could have been done for the wrong reasons. The mitzvah is done, behido with all the halachas, but quite frankly, and even with the emotions and the intentions, but even if there is a little bit of an intention which is not so pure, that taints the mitzvah, and in the day it's a shame that it's not, it's not in its purest form that it can be, and we spend our life long actually trying to achieve that objective in every mitzvah that we can. And so what he says is, the way that we see that is that the really Talmidei Chacham, day and night, they're trying to make sure that when they do the mitzvah, not because they know the halachas. The halachas are not so difficult, really, practically, on most mitzvahs, everyday mitzvahs, but that's not where the avodah lies. That's maybe because the avodah of laziness, that's where it would lie, to make sure that you're medaktik, okay. But the actual avodah of the mitzvah really lies in making sure that your intention, that you wholeheartedly, that all of you is there. Because if part of you isn't there, then that part, it leaves room, that void leaves room for intentions which are not pure. So the same way he says, for example, when you're an accountant and you're doing bookkeeping and accounting, and you're adding all the numbers at the end and you check them again, that's the way that you can check whether or not you're doing a mitzvah l'shem shamayim. And therefore, the way that you know whether or not you love Hashem is whether or not you have Ahavas Yisroel, and whether or not Mekayim love to Korach. What does it mean by that? We say that somebody who is Mekayim those are not just empty words, those are not just words, beguzma. They have actual meaning and value. Two friends that love each other, good friends, this love will extend to the rest of their family, because that's part of who they are, and they appreciate and they love it with all that it comes with. And they will not see a differentiation between these two things. Same way, if you love Hashem, then you love the whole of Klal Yisrael. If you have a problem with loving one of Klal Yisrael, it means that your love for Hashem isn't really a love for Hashem. Or the Hashem that you love isn't the Hashem that wants to have a connection with you, put it that way. I believe that it was said by one of the tzaddikim, I can't remember which one it is, that somebody came to him and said, how can you believe in God? I think it was Rav Nachman of Breslau, who would frequently engage with maskilim, very, very intellectual people. And Rav Nachman had mastered a variety and a massive spectrum of different sciences and chachmas and everything, and he knew it well, he knew his material, and he would engage with these other maskilim within their particular science or their field, and have these discussions in the hope that something somehow will seep through, and maybe somehow a small change will be able to rectify something in their lives. And they said to him, Rav Nachman, you're a clever guy, you've got your head screwed on straight. How can you honestly, intellectually believe in there's a God that's going to punish you if you do bad, he's going to send you to hell if you do bad, he's going to send you to heaven if you do good. And they came with a whole list of very small-minded views, and quite frankly, not really Jewish views per se, in its entirety, of how they perceived Hashem. And Rav Nachman said, I don't believe. He said, I don't believe in the God that you don't believe. But that's what we share. Meaning, the reason why you don't believe it is because it's something which you can't connect with. It's something that's so antithetical and distant, and you can't connect, and I don't connect with that either. And what he was trying to say is that the Hashem that you're looking to connect with is an Hashem which go beyond the aleph base ways of you being taught in school as a child, just because that's what your mind could grasp, and build on that, build beyond. But anyway, coming back to this, our relationship with Hashem is constantly developing, and therefore, if we don't have Ahavas Yisroel, it means that our relationship with Hashem isn't in the right place, because we have not truly come to appreciate and embrace Hashem for what that means within this world. The Hashem within us, the Hashem within each and every one of the others. And he brings down as well the Tiferes LeMoishe from the Yehudi HaKadosh of Pesachah on Parshas Eschana, which discusses the Kedusha of every Yid. And he says that everything in this world that exists, there's a way to tell if it's true or false. And you weigh it, you test it with assets, etc. The same way, he says, So when it comes to Avodas Hashem and Ahavas Hashem, the way to know if you really love Hashem is how strong is your Ahavas Yisroel. If you're not certain whether or not your Ahavas Hashem is where it should be, check where your Ahavas Yisroel is. Do you have trouble accepting certain people, certain Yidden? Now, obviously, it doesn't have to accept all their actions, but their actions are theirs. It doesn't change who they are deep down. And you have a mitzvah of Ahavas Yisroel regardless, except for when they take themselves out of the klal, when they are apikosim. And therefore, Ahavta l'recha kamocha teaches you where you're holding, because they're klal God Torah. This is the measuring stick for everything in the Torah. And so even for every mitzvah that's there, because quite frankly, every mitzvah is a connection to Hashem. Me wanting to connect to Hashem. And kol shekain, when definitely in a case where I'm doing a mitzvah, which is, how do I know whether I'm doing it right or not? Again, definitely there, Ahavas Yisroel, how strong is my Ahavas Yisroel? How much am I truly accepting and loving of each and every Yid? Shvizeicha, to put this into practice, and particularly so that this Tisha B'Av can become a moed for all of us.